Hello, welcome to Supporting Staff in Behavior and Group Management Strategies. In this course, we're going to spend some time talking about content behind understanding behavior in different ages of children and understanding about how to create a positive behavior culture within your program, and go through just some basics about behavior management that you as a director might already know. But what I want you to be doing during this training is always thinking about, how am I presenting this information to my staff who might not know all of this information about behavior, especially those who are just starting off their career or maybe just their one job in youth development. So as you hear about the different key components of what behavior management should look like and thinking about creating a positive behavior culture in your program, just always keep that piece in mind. How could I present this information to my staff? Because then at the end of this training, we're going to look more at management strategies, and you're going to be spending some time thinking about how can you take the information you learned in this course and make sure that you're presenting it to your staff in a way that will help them grow as educators and make your program the best it can be. So let's first start off by thinking about the basic principles of behavior, and we have 4 that we're going to look at today. Up on the slide, you'll see them here. First, we have awareness. It's important that when you're thinking about behavior, you're aware that if a child is misbehaving, they're not doing it just to be bad, right? We have the staff who come to us and say, this child is he's just doing this over and over again because he doesn't like me. Well, they're trying to say something, right? It's a form of communication. If a child's a little grumpy that day and they're misbehaving, it might be because they're hungry. Sometimes it's as simple as saying, how are you feeling right now? What's going on? And talking with the child, and they'll be able to communicate with you and tell you what they're trying to say. Sometimes it's a little more difficult with younger kids who maybe can't name their feelings at that moment, or even kids who are struggling with some of those social emotional skills. But first principle of behavior is awareness, that every behavior is a form of communication, and you should really be thinking about constantly, what is the child trying to say? Not focus on what the child's doing, but thinking about what is the child trying to say with this behavior. Second basic principle is environment, that when we are managing behavior, we are always going to try to change the environment before changing the child. You might find that a child just cannot manage waiting in line to check in with the rest of the kids, and you're not sure why, and then you realize it's because it's so loud, it's so chaotic, and they're not sure what to do. So maybe what you can do is you can put them in the front of the line, have them skip the line. And that might not work all the time. You know, you might have other kids who push back against it, but it might be as simple as changing that environment that helps them succeed and not have behavior problems in your program. Another example might be you have older kids in your program who keep resisting the activities, who keep saying, this is too young, this is boring, I'm in middle school now, I don't want to be here. How can you change the environment rather than having that pushback time with them where you're arguing about what they should be doing at the program or shouldn't be doing at the program? Can you adjust the environment where they have a space where they can hang out and have a little more relaxed time, where they're not necessarily doing the same activities that they're seeing the younger kids doing? So how can you adjust the environment before you're worried about changing the child? Another basic principle of behavior is teaching and learning. Remembering that when we're intervening with behavior, it's about teaching and learning, not about control. You should never think about changing a child's behavior because you want to be in charge and you want to be the one who's making that decision. Why can't I have second snack? Because I said so. It's never a good reason. But give them the skills so that they understand why the behavior is unacceptable and then what they should be doing instead. So you're giving them the skills, we're moving into the next one a little bit, but you're empowering them to make the right choice and make the right decision so next time there isn't that behavior problem. So as we think about these 4 principles of behavior, awareness, environment, teaching and learning, and empowerment, it's really looking at behavior as what is the child really trying to say, and how can I direct them to a more appropriate action? Is it something that I can do? Can I change the environment? Is it something that I need to change? And if it's something that the child needs to change, how can I support them in making that change? Not just by telling them what they have to do, but by redirecting and empowering them to make that right choice every time. So as we think about these 4 principles, it's really important to think about how are we doing these in our program already, and how can we maybe strengthen them a bit more. So you're going to take some time to look at some examples that we have from the roundtable that happened in February 2017, where we had about 20 directors present, and they all took the time to think about, all right, each individual principle, behavior principle, what are we doing really well as a program? And then on the right side of the picture, you'll see what are some ways that we wish we could improve a little bit more. And specifically, they were thinking about their staff. What are some ways that they feel their staff could improve that principle or demonstrate that principle a bit better in the program? So take a few minutes and kind of see what some of the other directors had to say.